everybody. Welcome to the Paq-Man's Corner. We have a very special guest this afternoon. At least for clarinet players, he's very special for us. He's an English clarinet player, dear friend, Julian Bliss from London. Welcome to our show, Julian. How are you doing these days, these pandemic days?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, very good. I am working more than ever and making less money than ever.
I feel the same. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard you playing. I was so impressed. I said I had to contact this guy.
I remember that. It was in Oklahoma, right?
He was in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
The clarinet convention.
Yeah, I think it was in the early 2000s or something. Maybe 2001, I think, or 2000.
Yeah, around there, yes.
And I remember you played, I think you played after I played, and then you played a concert afterwards, I think. And I remember you gave me a piece of music, which I still have, a handwritten version of, I think it was Contradanza or something.
Ah, no kidding, yeah?
I think so. Or maybe that was the second time. It's difficult to remember all the way back then.
That's a long time ago. But I think you played there a recital, right? With piano?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did one of the half recitals.
What are the what?
The half recitals. You know, you have two people that play. And so I think I played one portion of that. I can't remember what I played, but I do remember the concert. It was good fun.
But you do remember that it was fun, huh?
Oh yeah, every time is fun. Of course.
Every time is fun. The clarinet convention is so much fun because it's like being on a toy store.
It is.
It's interesting because it's funny too. After a while, because you go to the toy store where they have to the exhibits. They have all the instruments and all that, and everybody is playing the same. They play the Brahms sonatas or the Mozart concerto or the Cavallini stories. They don't play nothing else. So it's like everybody play. Everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
In different keys too. But it was fun. Rossi was in that convention too. Louis Rossi.
Yeah, I remember that. I think at that time I was maybe playing a Rossi for a little bit, because I had 2 years where I played one of his instruments for a bit, and yeah, it was great. I liked him.
Yeah, well, it's so much experience accumulated through all these years that now the manufacturers are making better and better instruments.
It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of new technology. There's a lot of new ideas, and the precision is very different to how it used to be. It's incredible.
Oh yeah. So some people want to put down technology, but it had to be better, because the knowledge of the people have been improving through all these years. So it's interesting. Always I say, these days it's very hard to make a bad instrument. You have to be very stupid to try very hard to make a bad instrument, because they have everything. They have everything in their hand to do good instrument, because everything is written, detailed, the technology, and then if not, you will find it in the internet.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the instrument. Tell us something about that Lyons C clarinet. That had nothing to do with Emilio Lyons, right?
No. The Lyons C clarinet. It's an interesting instrument, and in the key of C, so it's a little bit smaller than the regular B flat clarinet, but it was designed for children because the regular clarinet was too big and too heavy. And also when your hands are very small, there's too many keys as well. So they developed this instrument specifically for young players. It has a very simple system. all of the keys, they snap on and off. They click into place. And the pads are made from rubber. It's very, very easy to repair. And it's very strong, a very, very strong instrument, which when you're a kid, it's a good thing. But it uses, I think, an E-flat clarinet mouthpiece. So everything's a lot smaller. And when I decided I wanted to play music, this was the clarinet that they gave me. And I'm very happy it was there, because if it wasn't, then maybe I wouldn't have started on the clarinet. So yeah, it was a great instrument. And then I moved to regular B flat, I think after 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years, I moved to regular B flat. And that was big. It was a big, heavy instrument compared to the plastic. So yeah, it was a great instrument to start on.
Now I know that what I had downstairs is one of those Lion clarinets. Tell me something. The instrument doesn't have the two top keys, right? These keys up here.
No. It has a very simple, and also it doesn't have
only the B flat and the other one here.
I think so, yeah. And it also does not have all of these keys also. I think there is only 2 keys here and 2 keys here. So it just makes it a little bit more simple for young players. And it sounded pretty good, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Did you ever try to play the clarinet in a concert again?
No, I never. Although I remember last year, I think somebody gave me one, and I remember I tried to play it, and it felt really crazy, very odd to play it again. But it was a good time. A good time.
Yeah, it's like let's put it. It's like a recorder with a reed. That's what it is, right?
Kind of, yeah, and some keys as well, and some keys. Yeah, designed to be very, very affordable, very good for kids. And yeah, like I said, I'm very happy that instrument was available to me.
So the clarinet was your first instrument?
Yeah, I decided to play music. I have no idea why, no idea. But when I was 4, I said to my parents that I wanted to play music. And in the beginning, they gave me a recorder. Oh. And I played the recorder maybe for 1 or 2 weeks. And then I gave it back to my parents. And I said,
"I'm kidding. I don't want this shit.
I don't want to play this." And then I think maybe they were a little bit surprised and they didn't know what to do. So there's a music school, and they do a lot of fantastic things for children near here. And they took me there to try all of the instruments to see if there's anything that I wanted to play. And I tried everything. I remember though, I wanted to play the bassoon.
No, don't do that. We are talking about musical instruments. that is a bazooka.
But the problem was, when I was only 4, I couldn't even reach the reed on the bassoon. So that was out. And I knew it would be a wind or brass instrument, definitely. But then one day someone gave me this plastic clarinet and it was instant. Like, yeah, that is it. And since the age of 4, that's all I played. I played piano also, but that was it.
Oh, very. So you play it as a secondary instrument? You play the piano as a
Yeah,
complementary instrument?
I love the piano. I love it. I wish I had time to play it a little bit more now than I
The,
do. But
the piano is the king of the instrument. And that is one of my frustrations. I never learned to play the piano, but I bought a wonderful Steinway I have at home, you know, and then I invite good pianists to play the instrument for me.
that's good. You can sit down and watch them and
Yeah,
play with them as well. That's also nice.
but the knowledge of the piano is such an important element for any musician. Even if you're not going to be a pianist, but when you know the piano is the concept of the music is totally different. Where you see the horizon that the pianist see is totally different. So you play the piano before you play the clarinet, or you learn later on?
I think it was almost the same time. I think it was just afterwards that I then started to take piano lessons. But yeah, you're right. To learn harmony and to learn music theory, the piano is so important. And then if you want to go into the jazz world later and learn that, the piano is an amazing tool. You can see it, you can play chords, you can understand it better than just imagining it on your instrument.
The other day we could be commenting with a friend who is not even a musician, he's just a fan. And he said, too many classical musicians, they have no idea of harmony. Maybe it's because the classical composers from the 18th and 19th century and the 20th century, they wrote everything so beautifully and so perfect that they don't have nothing to worry about it. You know, in the case of the improvising, we have to know what's going to happen around us because we adjust a little bit, and then now you go for it. So you can feel that. I never noticed that the importance of knowing harmony. When you know the piano, you play your line and you are thinking about what's happening around you, and that is very important. And that happens more and more if you know how to play the piano. So you discovered the piano by yourself, or what?
Do I play the piano by myself?
You're learning by yourself?
No, I took lessons. I had lessons. And then there was a time, I think I was maybe 11 or 12, and then I decided to focus all of the time on the clarinet. So I haven't played the piano properly for a number of years, which is a frustration because I would love to sit down and play some great music. But I think with the harmony, it's also the music education, because when we learn music theory and harmony in school or in lessons, we often don't learn the jazz part, the jazz harmony, the version of that, the jazz theory. And why not? Why do we learn the classical music side and then later on you can learn the jazz side? It's all music. You should learn everything together. Yeah. Because I think also having knowledge of a better knowledge of harmony makes your classical playing better, because you understand what's going on, the color, the feeling, the emotion of the harmony and of the chords. So I think everybody everywhere should learn all of the harmony, the theory side. Jazz, classical, doesn't matter what it is. You should learn it. I think it's important.
It's just music. The great Duke Ellington always say that there is only two kinds of music: good music and the other stuff. the other stuff is nothing precise. So, but you can imagine what it is. So it's good to listen, and the telephone rings a little more if you know more different styles of music. You know?
Exactly. So did you start on both saxophone, clarinet at the same time, or which one was first, or?
No, I'll be back. I will show you something. My father was the representative. My father was a classical composer. That's him in the back. He was a classical saxophone player. He imported the French school of the saxophone. He never had the ability to improvise, but he loved the sound of the Stan Getz and Lester Young, and I don't blame him for that. He also was a representative of the Selmer Company in Havana. And then when I was 5 years old, he already did beauty for me.
Wow. Nice.
This is a super balanced saxophone, curved soprano. So, and he taught me how to play the instrument. So my first instrument was the saxophone because my father was a saxophone player. So when I was around 10 or 11, my father was a very, very smart teacher. He learned, I never asked him how he did it. He learned to play the clarinet and then he taught me how to play the instrument for the first two years or something like that. And then he took me to the guy who was the principal clarinet of the Havana Philharmonic in the 40s and 50s, Enrique Pardo. And then I learned to play the clarinet. I mean, I am still learning to play the clarinet.
If you're still learning, then I haven't even started. You know.
The clarinet, the problematic instrument, and well, that was the way it worked. Then both instruments, I feel like they are my instrument because I never stopped playing the saxophone, and then came the clarinet, and I fall in love. But what can I? Did you play the saxophone too?
No, I never did. I thought about it, but then for some reason I just stuck with the clarinet. And now when I try to play, I always go to the clarinet fingering instead of.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Actually, I will tell you something interesting. My instrument is the alto. My main instrument is the alto saxophone. I was playing for a number of years the soprano and then the clarinet, both in B flat. When my father came in the alto, I feel very strange because the alto is in E flat. And then when I play here the D, I hear G. I say, oh, Jesus Christ, this is not the G, it's a D. Or my ears are still today is in B flat. So I learned to play the alto with the fingering or the low register or the clarinet.
Okay.
So, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, G,
and then
not
back
D.
in.
Yeah.
So do you have perfect pitch then?
No. That's why I don't have perfect pitch, because my pitch is all over the freaking place. But mainly, my ears are in B flat. Probably you too, right? Or your ears are in C.
No, my ears pretty much in B flat. But it was interesting you say that, because when I started on the C clarinet, then after 2 years, even when I was very young, I moved to a B flat clarinet. It was very confusing for me because the scales I was playing was not what I was hearing. And it took a few months to get used to the note that I was playing was not the note that I wanted to hear. And it was confusing, but over time, I think I'm getting there slowly. You know,
to the B flat stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody hears in a different way. For example, this is I never understood this. I'm still trying to understand that. I wrote a couple of, the first time I wrote a chart for Dizzy Gillespie, I wrote his part, in B flat for the trumpet, in B flat, and the chord symbols in B flat. So he came to me and he asked me, why did you write the chords in B flat? I said, because you play the trumpet in B flat, right? I said, yeah, but I don't play chords. The pianist play the chords. I said, yeah, but you hear them in B flat. He said, no, I hear the chords in C, and then I play in B flat. Jesus Christ, it's like the politicians. Like he says something and then they do something else. That would be, everybody had a different way of seeing harmony and life and everything.
Yeah, that would be kind of confusing to see both or to imagine both. I don't know.
Yeah, well, everybody has a different way of seeing music. music in general. There is this great guy, organist, Joey De Francesco. And Joey plays very good tenor saxophone, but trumpet. And he loved playing the organ and the trumpet at once. And then I asked him, no, I play the chords in C, and then I play the trumpet in B flat. And I asked him, why do you don't get a trumpet in C, one of those symphonic trumpets in C? And then, no, the phone is playing in B flat. So some people have the dual mind, you know. But well, it's like that. Tell me something about those wonderful Stravinsky pieces. I love those pieces.
Yeah, they're great and very challenging, very, very challenging. And I think every clarinet student at some point in their lives, they will learn the Stravinsky pieces. The third one is, I think, my favorite. Very, very high energy. He writes at the beginning, forte from the beginning until the end. So it's a lot of power. There is a couple of parts where the dynamic changes, but it's a lot of power. It's a lot of high energy. And whenever I do a masterclass, I always say to whoever plays it, it's all about the accents and about the feeling of the rhythm and the changes in meter. So it's a fun piece. It's a fun piece. And I really enjoy playing it whenever I can.
Stravinsky is one of my favorite composers, and now that you mention articulation, I wrote a book about Latin jazz articulation. But in any type of music, articulation is one of the main elements in music, and Stravinsky had a lot of articulation. Well, of course, articulation and dynamic, in order that the music don't sound the same way. But playing Stravinsky is a challenge. I recorded La Historia del Soldado. Did you record that piece?
No, I haven't. I haven't recorded it. I've played it a few times, but only the small version. Have you done the trio version or the big one?
Both. I have played both, and in the beginning I almost cut my veins because I couldn't understand the.
It's so difficult. It's a crazy piece.
It's a wonderful piece, but it's very difficult until you understand the thing when you play with other people.
I think with a lot of rhythm and things like Stravinsky or pieces like that, where it's very complicated, obviously in the beginning you have to count and you have to work it out. But in the end, I think if you're always counting, then it doesn't work. I think after a while you just have to feel it, and you just know the feeling of the rhythm, rather than in your head going, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something. Maybe that's just for me anyway. I just try to feel it over time, rather than, because I can't do more than one thing at the same time. I can either play the clarinet or count, or not two. So I'm playing tune, find a good read. There's only one thing I can do.
Paying the rent.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a very funny story about Stravinsky and Stokowski, the conductor. Stravinsky went to see Stokowski was doing something like this Firebird, or one of those pieces. Firebird, The Rite of Spring, one of those crazy pieces by Stravinsky. And then at the end, they say that Stravinsky went backstage and to congratulate Stokowski for the beautiful rendition of my piece that you did. Is one of the best rendition of interpretation of my piece I ever heard. And then Stokowski said, wait for me a minute. Then he went and picked the score and showed to him, to Stravinsky, and said, you see, I put everything in 4. It's totally reason to do 1, 2, 3. Everything is here. Stravinsky, when he split, I never talked to him again.
It makes life easier.
they talk about the accents and all that, but I think uh, it's about to simplify the life of the musician, not to complicate it more, right?
We have a lot to do, and especially in Stravinsky, and in that piece, there's a lot of very difficult passages technically. So
Yeah.
you have to think of so many things at the same time. It's very difficult. But then the end result is hopefully a good performance and some great music.
But you know what I think is even worse, especially for the solfeggio, the quartet for the end of times.
That's a tough piece.
Probably you play that one too, right?
I've done it a few times now. I remember I did a tour in New Zealand, which the most beautiful country, and we did the Messiaen and other pieces 10 times in a row after night. Ding 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 ding.
You learn the thing, huh?
Yeah, you learn it.
You play by ear.
Yeah, yes, but it's very, very tiring. You have to have a lot of stamina to play this piece, because even just to play the third movement, the solo movement, is a big thing for the clarinetist. To play the dynamics so quietly to the loudest you can play, all of the technical passages, it's a very, very tough piece. But when it's played well, it's an amazing, very powerful piece.
Yeah. And very, very long too. It's extremely long piece and depressing and all that. I read a book by Rebecca Riskin. Did you read that book? It's called For the End of Times.
Okay.
It's a clarinet player. It's a lady clarinet player who she got a grant to do some investigation about how the piece was composed. And Iacoca was the name of the clarinet player who premiered the piece in the camp. Mm. There was a concentration camp.
Yeah.
And he say that this guy Messiaen he was kind of a mythomaniac. He liked to embellish things and all that, and say, when we premiered this piece was 30,000 people in the other. Iacoca say, hey, Messiaen, we didn't have 30,000 people in that camp, and was too cold to play it outside. And then Messiaen say, and the cello have only 2 strings. The cello say, hey, Oliver, you cannot play the cello with 2 strings, especially all that shit that you write. You know? It's a very hard piece, and especially the intensity of the solo piece is so demanding, and you have to be very patient to play the piece. And for the Cuban, that is almost impossible. Maybe you can.
I think the biggest thing with that piece, but actually a big thing for music in general, is silence, and how important silence and space can be. I think often a lot of young players as well, we want to always fill every silence with something, or even, you know, if you're improvising, people want to fill everything. And sometimes either it's very simple or silence is very powerful, is more powerful, I think. And yeah, the Messiaen has a lot of times where you can take 5-10 seconds of silence, and it's more powerful, I think, this way.
Well, silence is more important than sound, because silence was there before. So he arrived before. So he had the right, to be the first. And then there is an Arab proverb. They say nothing when what you're going to say is not better than the silence.
Yeah.
So the silence is very important, and the spaces. You are right when you say that in many occasions, young people, they try to fill everything. And it's important not playing nothing. Keeping quiet, no? Especially when you have the choice, which is in jazz music, that you have the choice, don't play. They're going to pay you anyway, or not.
I think also a lot of people these days, we are impressed by very fast playing. All of the notes,
Yeah.
technical, you know, hey, look what I can do. I can play a lot of notes. But it is not, that's not the most difficult thing. The most difficult thing, I think, is to play something slowly with good legato and a beautiful sound, like the first half of Copeland Clarinet Concerto.
Oh yeah.
That is the most difficult part of the whole piece. And yeah, I think generally people, we are impressed by fast playing rather than something slow and something beautiful.
Especially for the intonation. The intonation, I'm talking about intonation. I remember that the other day I mentioned to you I asked you, do you play the basset, the
Basset horn.
basset horn in F? They say that sometimes it's hard to control the intonation in that instrument. And your answer was, that's the way I feel with the regular clarinet many times.
Yeah.
It's complicated, and sometimes the clarinet is such a totally unpredictable instrument. You know, the saxophone, for example, it's a very novel instrument. You leave it there and you pick it up again, and you can get some sound. Maybe it's not perfect, you know, you're not going to sound like a Charlie Parker, but you can get a decent sound. The clarinet, you have the right mouthpiece, the right reed, and all that. The very nice LeBlanc instrument, and then you put it there and you pick it up again. And you know, Frank West, who hates the clarinet, he say that the clarinet was invented by 5 men that never met.
It can be quite difficult to control and to get the right sound. And with the intonation, though, I think you always, your ears are your most important tool that you have when you play music. The ears is the most important part. And you always have to, if you're playing with other people, you are always adjusting. But this is the same for every musician. You're always adjusting the intonation to fit in the chord or in what you're playing, or the color. You know, if you want a more brighter sound, the intonation can adjust slightly to give you the color also. So it's always changing and always a challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think that is for every instrument, but especially for the clarinet is kind of tricky. And the temperature in the room too. Playing with when it's cold, you know, and the instrument goes flat and a real pain in the neck.
I remember I did a concert once. I was asked to do this concert in Germany, and I thought, oh, great, it will be a lot of fun. You know, Weber First Clarinet Concerto. And so for any other concert, I take a black shirt, I fly to Germany. They drive me through the place in Germany, I think somewhere near Berlin. And we get to this church, it's a beautiful church in the countryside. I walk inside. The church has no roof. It's outside. And it was about 10 degrees Celsius. So that's, I don't know, 50, maybe under 50 Fahrenheit, and raining. We had some drizzle. And I was on stage trying to play Weber First Clarinet Concerto. So very cold, so very flat. And also the keys were all very slippery because it was raining. That was the worst. And I was also very cold, shivering. I'm trying to play the second movement, fingers slipping off the keys.
Oh, yeah.
Not fun.
They didn't stop when it was raining?
No, not. It was just a very fine, but still it was enough to make your life very difficult. But it's the same. If it's too hot also, then the instrument goes really sharp and it's...
And the sweat and all that, and then slippery.
Yeah. It's excuses. We always have a good excuse for something, you know?
Yeah. Blame it on the reed.
Always.
Yeah, always the reed is yeah. But
or water underneath the key. That's a good one. Yeah. Sorry.
It's a terrible impression, that thing. The terrible feeling that you do, especially in the adagio. Oh shit! Yeah.
Somebody said to me once, I think it might have been an English clarinet player, a guy called Anthony Pay, and he played a lot of classical clarinet. And he said to me, if you ever have water in one key, the next time you play this note, if you can find a way to play it more loud and with more accent, you can clear the water.
The water.
Yeah. So, but maybe in the beginning of the Brahms, it would be difficult, you know, but it's a good little trick. If you can play a little accent with the air, you might be able to clear the water a little bit.
Ah, well, I will try next time.
Not in the slow movement of something, though.
Oh, yeah. The factor is terrible.
It is terrible.
Well,
So that clarinet,
Huh?
I was going to ask, the clarinet you have there, you've had it for quite a while, I think, right?
Well, this one, I had like 5 of them. Yeah, this is made out of purple hardwood. The purple hardwood is it's called amaranto in Spanish. I like the color because it's purple. Then once I was playing with the Wynton Marsalis Orchestra, and the guy who played the lead alto asked me, "Is that purple hardwood?" I said, "Yeah." In the intermission, said, "Do you know that that wood is poisonous?" See what? I am still alive. Then I look for it in the internet, and they say that it's kind of poisonous, the purple hardwood.
Oh.
But I have like 5 of these. I have one in C, one in A, of course, and 2 and 3 of them in B flat. When I met Rossi, I liked his instrument immediately. I play the redwood is a little cozier than the ebony for some reason. I feel it that way. It's less sound. It has less value. So, will you make a clarinet for me with the 7 rings and an articulated G? I said, let me think about it. So he called me and said, yeah, I found out I can make that for you. And then I ordered the clarinet, and I love it.
Yeah, you like the 7, the extra one here, instead of just this with the...
Yeah, because here I can do... I know how to do. You see, I showed the clarinet to Buddy Franco. I said, "Hey, buddy, you can do this with your clarinet." Now I can do it myself. I said, "You cannot do that with the clarinet." Okay, then I play something else.
Yeah, because it's not very common to have that extra key on clarinets. There's only a few.
It's a very comfortable instrument, and you can make a lot of things. When you forget your pinky on the H sharp, it saves your life. Because if you do that with the 17 key, it do that.
Yep, it's bad.
Something even worse than that. But for some reason, the instrument never got popular. Benny Goodman and Ari Shaw, they used to play the instrument for a little while because there is some pictures of them playing the articulated G. But for some reason, they didn't like it. The instrument never was popular. And the only one of the famous ones that I remember that they keep the instrument was Pete Fontaine. And that's why I am looking for that instrument.
Yeah, the gold-plated Pete Fountain LeBlanc.
Pete Fountain LeBlanc and has it's called the Big Easy.
They
call the Big Easy.
Yeah, they're very rare. And I found 1 or 2 of the regular 17 key, but none of them with the extra, with that key. But if I do, and if anyone is listening or watching that has one, then Paquito needs one.
One day I found one on the internet, but it was sold. New, because as I said before, people don't, they are not attracted to the articulated G. And I heard, I never played that regularly, but I heard that you can use this key for something else, huh?
Oh, really?
For some high notes.
Oh, probably.
Leaving the key on and playing uh,
Sure.
with the low body. There is some notes, some high note that you can use that key. I don't know because I never. Do you use the key for high notes, leaving open?
Sometimes, some of them, and a lot for modern music when you have to play multiphonics and some crazy sounds and things. Then yeah, you there's all sorts of weird combinations to make chords and 3 notes and 4 notes. But I don't play so much music where you have to do multiphonics and things. There's some very interesting music out there for modern music for clarinet. Yeah. I remember I did a masterclass and somebody played a piece, and halfway through the piece, he took the bell off, and next to him he had a piece of a pipe, the same as the drain pipe from your sink, and he put it onto the clarinet, and he carried on playing. What? This is crazy. So you now have some drain pipe attached to your clarinet. I didn't understand it really, but yeah, there are some very weird and wonderful pieces these days for clarinet. So
the composition composers have been the very, some of them are very talented around. Some people that can write for any instrument in a very beautiful way, you know. And also the players have developed so much, you know. They improve their play. Some people play those instruments and say, how is it possible to play all that thing in an instrument, you know?
I remember
so beautifully.
The Nielsen clarinet concerto. This used to be one of the most difficult clarinet concertos. It was known as very, very challenging. Yeah. But these days, yes, it's still very difficult, but these days, a lot of people play it. And now the playing has got so much better and more advanced that now there is even more complicated pieces. One of my favorite concertos is Lindbergh, which is an awesome piece, full symphony orchestra, and then the clarinet at the front, Magnus Lindbergh.
Lindbergh, like the pilot.
Yeah, Lindbergh.
Lindbergh. Is that an English composer?
No, Scandinavian composer. I think maybe Finnish, from Finland. But yeah, incredible modern, but very, I don't know, modern but very good, very easy to listen to, I think. Some interesting harmony. But there's also 2 clarinets in the orchestra as well. So it's a lot of work. You're at the front, 27 minutes of playing, and you are always up and down the clarinet playing everything.
Oh.
And the last page, you have to play a high C, and you have to hold it. And it feels like you hold it for
3
10 minutes. You're there, and everything, the sweat is coming down, and your mouth is tired. You're so tired, and you have to hold this C. It's tiring, but a great piece though.
And we have that in mind. Did you record it?
No, not yet. Hopefully,
not yet, huh?
Hopefully in the future I will. There's so many pieces I want to record. The list is endless. So hopefully I get a chance to make a lot of recordings. Well, like you, every time I look, you have a new recording. You're so busy. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, I one of these days I'm going to write something good for you, especially for you. I have that in mind. But by the moment, for many years, since I went to see you at the Jazz and Lincoln Center.
Oh yeah.
Tell us how you came to put together the jazz quintet, especially with that fantastic vibraphone player of yours. What is his name?
Louis Wright.
I love him. Louis what, Vine?
Yeah, Lewis Wright on vibes. Yeah, he is incredible. One of the most incredible vibraphone players I've ever heard. He really is.
Probably he's a pianist or something, you know?
He does play piano. He does play piano as well. And he also plays drums very, very well. He's one of those people that is multi-talented, you know? But yeah, I decided I always listened to jazz. I always loved listening to jazz, but I never thought about playing any for myself until I think it was when I was playing the Copeland concerto. I started to think about the idea of maybe arranging some pieces for clarinet and orchestra. And then I thought, well, it would be nice to have piano and bass. And then it got a little bit bigger. And then I thought, well, how maybe I will try to have my own band. And it's been the most amazing experience, a completely new challenge for me, because for many years I never played jazz. And then I decided as a new challenge to try and get into this. And I'm very lucky because all of the guys in the band are the best. They are incredible. And every time I hear them play, it's like my jaw is on the floor. Kind of, how is this possible? So for me, it was a good challenge to get into it and to try and push myself to learn more. And I'm still learning, of course. You're always learning more and understanding more. But I know it was an honor for everyone, for all the guys to have you there as well. It was a lot of fun.
I was having a lot of fun there because first of all, I love your playing. You know,
Thank you.
I am a fan of Julian Bliss, and I love Benny and all the repertory. I grew up listening to every single piece that you played that night. Memories of You, Don't Be That Way, People Who Be, all those beautiful pieces, and the band is so tight, so the show is so well prepared. Even the jokes are good in your show.
I try.
So I have so much fun. The pianist is very good. The drummer too. The bass player. Everybody in that band is fantastic. And I feel that one day I would love to play with that vibraphone player. Please say hello with my name.
I will do. I know he would love to play with you as well. Definitely.
Louis Wright, no?
Yeah, Lewis Wright. Yeah.
Very good. So,
I remember one of my favorite videos though of you playing is I think a while ago in the Royal Festival Hall, the United Nations Jazz Orchestra with Dizzy. I love that whole concert. I think it's an iconic concert. It was so fun, and I mean your playing is, I think, the best. Anytime you play, I think you're the king. You're the king of that stuff. It's amazing. So yeah, and that was an amazing concert too.
That's a wonderful hall to play, and being in London is always a treat. You know, it's an inspiring city, and that was a wonderful period of my career with Dizzy and Claudio Roditi was around there, James Moody, Ayrton Moreira, Flora. That was a fantastic band, and we had so much fun. And then they recorded, and I remember that Dizzy says something. In that, Dizzy was very mischievous, and then he said something, you know, a dirty word, and then he said, "Don't tell the Queen, please." Dizzy was tremendous. Well, what I was telling that ever since I saw you playing in Jazz at Lincoln Center, and after all those CDs that I heard of you playing, I always wanted to do something together with you. But well, with this pandemic and all that, but thanks God they invented Zoom, and they invented Juanito Ruiz, my assistant, who said, "Let's call Julian Bliss and write something for you and him playing two clarinet." And then I arranged this piece for two clarinets and a string. I recorded this piece originally to be recorded just for two clarinets and piano, but then I fixed it. I put the strings together in order to play with you. We want to close our wonderful conversation with Julian Bliss with these two Cuban dancers. written by the father of the Cuban pianism, Ignacio Cervantes. And this is two Cuban dances for two clarinets and piano. Julian, thank you for being with us, and
Thank you.
hope to see you in person very soon and play two clarinets.
I would love to. It's been an honor, a privilege to be able to work with you virtually and also to talk to you. When we're allowed to travel again, I know you were in London playing some concerts, and unfortunately I was somewhere else in the past years. So yeah, the story of life. But one day we will make sure we're in the same place at the same time. We can meet up, and it would be amazing to play together in person too. And it's nice to talk to you.
Wonderful to have you here. Juanito, give us those dances.